Hey there, fellow suckers. Valued investors. Have you jumped onto the crypto craze, lured by promises of Lambos and early retirement? We've all heard the hype. Bitcoin is the future. It's decentralized, it's gonna make us rich. But what if it's all a load of, well, let's just say fertilizer? What if those shiny digital coins are just another elaborate scheme designed to separate you from your hard-earned cash? Buckle up, because tonight, we're diving deep into the murky depths of cryptocurrency to answer the question that's been on everyone's mind. Is Bitcoin just a glorified pyramid scheme? Now, before you grab your pitchforks and accuse me of being a crypto-hating dinosaur, hear me out. I'm not saying all crypto is bad, but there are some seriously shady things happening in this unregulated digital Wild West, and it's time we shed some light on them. Because, folks, when it comes to your financial future, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Okay, let's get down to business. What exactly is a pyramid scheme? In a nutshell, it's a shady business model where early adopters make money by recruiting new members, rather than from any actual product or service. Think of it like a chain letter, but with fancier jargon and the illusion of legitimacy. Here's how it works. The first few people at the top of the pyramid make bank by recruiting a bunch of suckers. Investors. These new recruits then have to go out and find even more people to join, and so on and so forth. The problem is, eventually you run out of people willing to join your little get-rich-quick scheme, and the whole thing collapses like a house of cards. The real kicker? In a pyramid scheme, the only people who consistently make money are those at the very top. Everyone else is just cannon fodder, left holding the bag when the music stops. Now let's see how this stacks up against our favorite digital currency, shall we? Now, I'm not saying Bitcoin is a straight-up pyramid scheme, it's more nuanced than that. But there are some striking similarities that should give us pause. For starters, let's talk about recruitment. Just like those annoying multi-level marketing schemes trying to sell you overpriced leggings, crypto relies heavily on word-of-mouth and online hype to attract new investors. Ever notice how everyone from your Uber driver to your grandma suddenly seems to be a crypto expert? That's no accident. The more people who buy in, the higher the price goes, and the more money those early adopters at the top make. It's a self-perpetuating cycle of speculation and FOMO, fear of missing out. And don't even get me started on the influencers and celebrities pushing crypto to their millions of followers. They get paid handsomely to pump up these digital assets, regardless of their actual value or utility. It's all about creating buzz and driving up demand, often with little regard for the financial well-being of their followers. So, while Bitcoin may not be a pyramid scheme in the strictest sense, the parallels in its marketing and recruitment tactics are hard to ignore. One of the biggest selling points of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is their supposed decentralization. It's the whole stick-it-to-the-man narrative that's incredibly appealing to people who are fed up with traditional financial institutions. But here's the thing. While the technology behind blockchain might be decentralized, the reality of the cryptocurrency market is anything but. A small group of whales, early adopters, and miners control a disproportionate amount of the wealth and influence in this space. These crypto kings can manipulate the market with their massive holdings, pumping and dumping coins at will, leaving the rest of us mere mortals at their mercy. And let's not forget about the growing influence of venture capitalists and institutional investors who are pouring billions into the market, further consolidating power and control. So much for the democratization of finance, huh? It seems like the more things change, the more they stay the same. The players may be different, but the game remains rigged in favor of the powerful and well-connected. Section 5. When hype trumps utility. The emperor's new blockchain? Is this another red flag? Consider the lack of real-world utility for most cryptocurrencies. Sure, you can use Bitcoin to buy a pizza if you can find a place that accepts it, or even a Tesla, for now at least. But its day-to-day use case is still extremely limited. Instead, much of the value of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies seems to be based on speculation, and the hope that they will one day become widely adopted as a form of payment. It's like buying a ticket to a concert that may or may not happen, with the added bonus of potentially losing all your money in the meantime. And don't even get me started on the thousands of other cryptocurrencies out there, each with their own white paper and grand promises of revolutionizing everything from supply chain management to online gaming. Most of these coins are nothing more than thinly veiled attempts to cash in on the hype, offering little to no real value or innovation. It's the emperor's new clothes all over again, but instead of a naked emperor, we have a bunch of digital tokens with questionable utility parading around like they're the future of finance. Section 6, the Greater Fool Theory, a house of cards built on hope. Now, you might be thinking, but John, people are still making money with crypto. What about all those success stories? And you'd be right, there are people who have made a killing in the crypto market. But their success is often built on the backs of others, not on any inherent value in the assets themselves. This is where the Greater Fool Theory comes into play. It's the idea that you can make money by buying an overvalued asset, as long as you can find a greater fool to buy it from you at an even higher price. It's like a game of musical chairs, and when the music stops, someone's left holding the bag. The problem is, this kind of speculative bubble is inherently unsustainable. Eventually the music will stop, and when it does, it's going to be ugly. We've seen it time and time again throughout history, from the Dutch tulip mania to the dot-com bubble. And there's no reason to believe that the cryptocurrency market will be any different. So before you bet your life savings on the next Dogecoin, remember that you're not just betting on the technology, you're betting on finding a bigger fool than yourself. Section 7, Regulatory Roulette, navigating the Wild West of crypto. Another major concern with the cryptocurrency market is the lack of regulation. Unlike traditional financial markets, which are subject to strict rules and oversight, crypto exists in a largely unregulated Wild West. This lack of regulation creates a breeding ground for scams, fraud, and market manipulation. Without clear rules and protections in place, it's incredibly easy for bad actors to take advantage of unsuspecting investors. We've already seen countless examples of hacks, scams, and rug pulls, where developers disappear with millions of dollars of investors' money. And because the cryptocurrency market is global and largely anonymous, it's incredibly difficult to track down these criminals or recover lost funds. It's like trying to catch a ghost in a digital funhouse. Until there is greater regulatory clarity and oversight, the cryptocurrency market will remain a risky proposition for all but the most sophisticated and well-informed investors. Section 8, the environmental cost of digital gold, not so green after all. Now let's talk about the environmental impact of all this digital gold digging. Bitcoin mining, the process by which new coins are created and transactions are verified, requires a massive amount of energy. In fact, Bitcoin's energy consumption rivals that of entire countries, with a carbon footprint comparable to that of the beef industry. This energy-intensive process is fueled primarily by fossil fuels, particularly coal, which is the dirtiest and most polluting source of energy on the planet. So, while Bitcoin enthusiasts might like to tout its decentralized and digital nature, the reality is that it comes at a significant environmental cost. As concerns about climate change and our planet's future continue to grow, it's worth asking ourselves, is the promise of digital gold worth the environmental devastation it's causing? Or are we simply trading one crisis for another? Section 9. Bitcoin's intrinsic value, fact or fiction. But here's the million-dollar question, or should I say the $20,000 question. Does Bitcoin have any intrinsic value? Unlike traditional currencies, which are backed by governments and central banks, Bitcoin's value is derived solely from the belief of its users. It's like a collective delusion, where everyone agrees that this digital token is worth something, even though it has no inherent value beyond what we ascribe to it. It's like believing in fairies or unicorns. It's all fun and games until reality sets in. Now some argue that Bitcoin's limited supply, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence, gives it value. But scarcity alone does not guarantee value. After all, there are plenty of scarce things in the world like Beanie Babies and Pokemon cards that were once worth a fortune but are now gathering dust in attics. The truth is, Bitcoin's value is based entirely on speculation and the hope that it will one day become a widely adopted form of currency. But with its volatility, lack of regulation, and environmental concerns, it's hard to see how it can ever achieve mainstream adoption and fulfill its promise as a true digital gold. Section 10. Conclusion, proceed with caution. Your digital wallet might be a mirage. So there you have it. Is Bitcoin a pyramid scheme? The answer, as with most things in life, is complicated. While it may not fit the strict definition of a pyramid scheme, there are certainly aspects of its structure, marketing, and reliance on speculation that should give us pause. The cryptocurrency market is a complex and rapidly evolving landscape, and there are certainly risks and rewards to be considered. But before you jump headfirst into the world of digital gold, it's crucial to do your research, understand the risks involved, and approach it with a healthy dose of skepticism. Remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And when it comes to your hard-earned money, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go check on my Beanie Baby collection. You never know, they might be worth something someday.